Toys R Us leaks next-gen console release dates, Microsoft confirms capture card compatibility, and COD Ghosts is like baseball. Who writes this? What's up, guys? BriarRabbit here. Today I have some really exciting news. This comes from Toys R Us. A spokesperson for Toys R Us has let leak the release dates of both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So what they said is that the Xbox One will release on November 29th, which I'll be honest is a little later than I was hoping for. I was hoping for more toward mid-November for both consoles, but November 29th for the Xbox One, and then about 2 weeks later, the PlayStation 4 will be released on December 13th. So that gives a huge edge in my mind to the Xbox One this holiday season. It'll be out for about 2 weeks more. Theoretically, what could happen is when the PlayStation 4 actually is released, the Xbox One is kind of getting those second shipments in. So if people are disappointed they can't get their hands on a PlayStation 4 at launch, they may just end up saying, well, I'll grab an Xbox One, it's sitting here on store shelves. Or they could both be really highly supply constrained right at launch. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. There have been rumors in the past that the Xbox One is going to ship about 3 to 1 over the PlayStation 4. So that means that for every one PlayStation 4 on store shelves, there will be 3 Xbox Ones, which means they'll be a lot easier to get, which may give them an edge in getting those sales numbers right up front. I think the sales numbers are going to be important right up front for the entire length of the console generation, because the more people and the more friends you have that are playing one console over another, that's going to influence what you want and what you decide to buy. Because, you know, maybe I have my heart set on the Xbox One, but all my friends are playing Call of Duty on the PlayStation 4. Well, guess which one I'm going to want to play on? I'm going to want to play on the PlayStation 4 because that's where my friends are. So I think this is actually big news. Toys R Us, I don't know if they were supposed to let this leak, but they did, and neither Microsoft nor PlayStation or Sony, has confirmed this or put out any kind of press release regarding this. But I would say this is pretty reliable coming from Toys R Us. They probably have known this or know this now, and you know, they need to get their marketing materials ready for this. You know, they put out the flyers and the sales and the, you know, come to Toys R Us to buy this. So I'm sure that retailers already know when these things are coming out, and I think that we're starting to see the leaks. So this is really exciting to me. I can't wait to get my hands on these new consoles. A lot of people have been writing stories about how, you know, this is going to be the last generation of consoles. Maybe that is, but I know that I'm still really excited for the new consoles, and I know that my viewers are really excited about them because they talk about them all the time. So this is really exciting stuff. Next up, Microsoft announced today that the Xbox One will support gameplay footage capture just as it works on the Xbox 360. So we already kind of knew this. They've hinted at it on Twitter, or I even think they actually confirmed it on Twitter, but they actually announced it in a press release today. That's good news. Anybody who is currently recording games for either YouTube or esports, they're not going to have a problem moving forward with the Xbox One. This is a little bit of a hang-up for the PS4. The PS3 did not allow you to use HDMI video capture, and I've actually run into this problem. The only way to get video out of the PS3 was with analog cables, so like with component cables. And it looks muddy. It doesn't look as good as HDCP. You have to use a lot of converting to make it a digital signal, and with the HDMI on the Xbox 360, it just works. So it's really exciting to me that this is just going to work again with the Xbox One. They both consoles have their own internal capture cards for posting to Ustream or Twitch or whatever, but this just allows, especially esports and YouTubers, to easily grab footage from the Xbox One. I really want to see an announcement from PS4 about this. I really hope they don't put HDCP, which is the HDMI copy protection, on gameplay footage on the PS4. That was a real problem for me on the PS3. It remains a problem for me on the PS3, and I'd really like to see it just go away. Mark Rubin of Activision was in the news a little bit today. He had this to say, and I'll quote, "You can't change the rules too much. You have to sort of live within the boundaries that you've created for yourself. Other games can do that. They can go out and try other new features. That's totally cool because as a gamer, I like to play a lot of games. So I'll go out and play that game, open-ended, open-world type game, and I love it. For COD, in the time being, I think we sort of stay with what we have perfected. That sort of cinematic, immersive experience. We're going to stick with that. So, what Mark Rubin is saying is basically, you can't please everybody. A lot of people criticize COD a lot for not changing enough, but whenever something does change, you have this other subset of people who say, well, you can't change that, that's my favorite part of playing COD. And when you sell millions and millions of copies every year of basically an iterative title, you have to be very careful about what you change. This is a very important year for COD, not only because it's coming out on a new generation of consoles, but also because sales were a little bit slower for Black Ops 2 than they have been in the past. So I'm sure Activision is really looking at this very closely. I'm sure they're looking at the creative direction of not only the single-player campaign, but also the multiplayer stuff, the actual online multiplayer, and whatever kind of the zombies or spec ops mode is going to be in Ghosts. I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to Ghosts. I think everybody on this channel knows that. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. I really enjoy it every year. I don't have the complaints that a lot of people do about it. You know, I understand that there's lag, but it is a online multiplayer game. There's always going to be lag. What I hope to see is basically what he's talking about. Small iterative changes that don't take away from my experience playing COD. It remains to be a gun-on-gun game, but there's kind of cool new perks and cool new weapons and cool new attachments and maybe like some new game modes. You know, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I'm not looking for it to change dramatically every year, because then it's a totally different game. So I kind of respect what he's saying there, and it's kind of nice that he's being upfront about it. I know he's going to get a ton of flack for his statement in the, you know, on YouTube, because, you know, there are some older YouTubers, not older, but YouTubers who've been around for a long time that have been playing this game every day since Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2. And, you know, to be honest with you, who wouldn't be sick of it by then? But, you know, they're in a tough spot here because you can't change it dramatically. You have to, it's like a sport. It's like you can't change the rules of baseball every year. They have to remain basically the same. It has to stay the same game. You know, you might be able to change some of the rules, maybe how high the mound is, or whether or not to put the baseball in a humidor when you're playing in Colorado, or what the umps are wearing. But if you change, let's say, how many strikes you get, or how far the base paths are, you run into problems, and you actually change fundamentally the game. And I'm sure that's what they're looking at with COD right now. So that's going to pretty much wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button. It really helps me out. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button up on the screen, or a couple of videos you might have missed. Just click right on the video, and it'll bring you to the correct page. See you guys next time. Bye.